Hi everyone, Loaded Buggy here, back with another Sunday Chill commentary. And I recorded this gameplay earlier today, and it was nice and slow-paced, but still relatively action-packed for an array match, if you will, because often whenever I play on array, it's definitely on the slow side, and today was no different. It was definitely on the slow side, and but it was still an enjoyable match because anytime I can have an excuse to bust out the G11 on a larger size map, it makes me happy. This is one of my favorite guns to use, and it's not always the best on every single map that's in the game. You can actually use it pretty well on something like Nuketown if you throw steady aim on this thing. I think XCal proved that in spades in the past, but I tend to do better whenever I'm in mid to long range with this thing. And this match is pretty fun. I really enjoy the G11, and I have a lot of fun playing on array whenever I'm using a long range weapon like this. But it definitely is on the slower side, and I have to really be in the mood for that slow, methodical gameplay to get full enjoyment out of a map like array, seeing as it is like, I think it's the biggest map in Black Ops 1. It might be. But speaking of slow paced, I was just literally just popped into my brain right now how much fun I have with games that allow me to take my sweet time. Something like Skyrim, for instance. It's Elder Scrolls as a whole is a series that I have spent probably hundreds of hours in overall. I've definitely spent the most time in The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, but I've spent my fair share in Oblivion, and I've certainly spent my fair share in Skyrim as well. But I love the ability that that game gives you to go at whatever pace you want to go at. I mean, if you literally just want to not even touch the main quest in a game like that and just focus on leveling up like your alchemy or something like that, you have the freedom to do that and go at your own pace. And that's one thing that I really enjoy about gaming as a whole. I like games that give you the freedom to just go your own speed. And that's kind of why I like playing on array too, probably more than the average guy. Is sometimes I want to, take a break at least for a match and get away from the full speed, chaotic nature of Call of Duty, especially with maps like Nuketown or Summit or any other small map, for instance, firing range as well, I guess, and take a step back and enjoy the kind of slow burn type of gameplay that a map like Array provides you, and I feel that same way about other maps in other Call of Duties like Wasteland. I don't really like Derail, to be fair. I'm not a big fan of Derail in Modern Warfare 2, but I do tend to like the bigger maps in Call of Duties, which is probably why I enjoy Call of Duty Ghosts more than the average man too. I know it kind of has a negative stigma of being just an absolute camp fest, just riddled with so much camp, especially nowadays. I mean, it was pretty campy back in the day, but it is certainly a camp fest now. Yeah, but I tend to thrive in those. Thrive is probably a very bold word to use when I'm talking about Call of Duty Ghosts. I shouldn't say I thrive in those circumstances because I don't always thrive. Sometimes it really just absolutely beats me up, but sometimes I can really pull it off, just allowing myself to slow things down and go a really nice, consistent, reasonable pace. Like the little engine that could, just chugging along at my own pace real consistently without having to worry about someone blowing me up in a matter of seconds as soon as I spawn in on a map like Nuketown. As fun as that can be, sometimes I like to slow down too. But back to Skyrim and games like that, I get asked a lot if I play any other games besides Call of Duty, and obviously Call of Duty is the entire focus of my channel in terms of gameplay-wise, so I do spend a fair amount of time playing these older Call of Duties to make sure that I always have gameplay for whatever my next video may be. But in terms of my free time, whenever I'm not recording for the channel, in terms of my free time, I don't really play Call of Duty outside of that. I tend to play a lot of RPGs. Like I've mentioned in the past, I'm playing through Baldur's Gate 3 with my brothers, and that's another game that just kind of lets you go your own pace and go real slow or just as fast as you really want to. I mean, you can adjust the difficulty slider if it gets too much if you're trying to speed run the game, but you can really just take your sweet time and build up your character and just kind of explore every aspect of the game before you move on to the next act. And the same rules apply with games like Skyrim or Morrowind, where you can really just get as much as you possibly can out of a certain section of the game or a certain skill in the game without progressing too far into the main story or feeling like you have to move towards the end of the game. And I think that's a little bit less true in a game like Skyrim. I feel like the story, like once I get hooked on the story, I feel a sense of urgency of having to save the world as the Dragonborn. I have to stop the dragon. The dragons, I guess, from destroying all of Skyrim, and I feel kind of rushed in a way, and to a greater degree, actually, in a game like Fallout 4, I felt like I had to spend more time in the main story, and I felt like I was doing myself a disservice by spending too much time on side quests whenever I could be saving the world before I continue doing some of those side activities. But again, I think that's a little bit more true in Fallout 4 than it is Skyrim. But something like Morrowind, I don't really feel like there's that stress on my shoulders of I really need to save the world and I need to do it right now. And I kind of like that about Morrowind. In fact, I love that about Morrowind, it being one of my favorite games of all time. But I like taking my sweet time in games and just enjoying it the way that I want to enjoy it. I'm not the type of guy that feels like I have to beat the game every single time I play a new game. Sometimes I'll pick it up and I'll play the game for 20 hours and then I'll put it down and you won't see me touch it for a while. And maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe I should be finishing these games off, and I should put a little bit of pressure on myself to close out my backlog a bit. But at the end of the day, it's a video game, so who really cares? It's not that important. But it's something I did with Far Cry 4, is I played through all of Far Cry 5, all of Far Cry New Dawn, and I'm like, yeah, I want to go back and play through Far Cry 4, because I ended up skipping that one. I played through 2 and 3, and then a couple of years went by, I played through 5 and New Dawn, and I'm like, yeah, let me go through Far Cry 4, and then I can play through Primal. And I played probably a good 20 hours into Far Cry 4, and I just kind of got burnt out on the gameplay loop, and I have yet to return, but I haven't really felt like I needed to go back and beat it until literally right this second. Now I feel like I should go back and close out that story because it was a darn good one. It's one of the better Far Cry games for sure, but I haven't had that pressure that I felt like I needed to really just go back into that game and finish it off. But that's the beauty of video games, and that's the beauty of this commentary and how much I can just yap and yap and yap about who knows what. I don't know how I managed to fill like 8 minutes of your time with zero plan whatsoever, but alas, we did it somehow. So if you enjoy these type of videos and you want to see more Sunday Chill commentaries from me in the future, definitely click the like button on this video and click the subscribe button. Maybe put on the notifications so you can see future uploads from me in the future. Because every single Sunday, we're making these Sunday Chill commentaries. They are videos about nothing and everything all at once. And I think that's the beauty of these things. Just a video that you can put on your Sunday evening or Sunday morning to chill out right before the work week starts. So I have good fun making them, and hopefully you guys are enjoying them. So if you have any suggestions on topics that you want me to talk about in my other videos, please leave those in the comment section below. I look forward to hearing from you guys. So thanks, everyone. Bye now.